I've had a lot of ambitions in my life, but traveling has been the main ambition for me. It started because I came from a very isolated part of England where it was looked at as impossible to go any further than Spain. And even going to Spain was a luxury. So the idea of some of the places I've traveled over these past 2 years back home is it's crazy. When I look over everything I've done, I feel very humbled how I remember when I was 21, the first time I went to Paris, which is an hour flight from England, that was that was massive. And then I'm now going to places like Uzbekistan, and you have this surreal out of body moment where you see your life and you can't believe you made it out. You can't believe you got to travel. And I travel for myself. I don't travel to make content. I travel for my own money, my own funding. So I don't really have. I work and I travel, so I don't really have the typical traditional traveler who just chucks it all in and goes. I'm doing it in quite a what's the word I'm looking for? Quite a marginalized way, if you like. But one of the things what I noticed while traveling, and it's a truth what is getting bigger and bigger for me, is when I come back, I'm finding it harder and harder to adjust to life. I don't think the issues that people bring up have ever really plagued me. The issues of trying to find yourself, I've never traveled to find myself. The the issue of being in danger, I've been in some dangerous situations, but I felt like I'm in control and I travel quite smartly. I touch wood, I've never had too hard of a time traveling, even though I've had some crazy moments and some moments what I'm not really proud of. But the thing what I can't shake is when you go to these places you didn't know exist and when you have these incredible moments, you start to chase more and more and more. It's how these sort of vloggers are created. The real vloggers and the people with the most interesting stories are the ones that they don't tell their story until you meet them. They're not posting the story online. They're the real deal. They're really a vagabond. And then you meet them on the road and they have such an incredible story to tell you. Those are the real vloggers. And I have big problems with vloggers who only show the downside of a country just for views. And there is this sort of grifting culture where people are just jumping on to try and show content of a place. And I think there are very few vloggers what care about the place they're going to. So not only does travel have a bad name now, and it's even more difficult to travel now, uh, because you wish you could just roam this earth freely, but you can't because of the the sad thing that countries don't get on, not just with each other but within themselves. And when you come back home and you take a minute and you have a tea or whatever, it's very, very hard to actively get yourself back in to the grind. And part of me knew that was going to happen when I started traveling. And part of me wanted that to happen. I wanted to go so far there was no way back mentally. But now I'm actually in that situation where I've seen so much and I find normal life quite boring. I find myself sort of confronted with a cautionary tale. So if you are thinking of traveling, just be wary of the change it will do to you. Because there is no coming back. When I was 22 and I came back from Thailand, my life just was never the same again after. How could it be? Not just through culture shock, but just when you see the world, what is it you do tomorrow? So that's an interesting thought, and it's something what I'm currently dealing with. It's not going to stop me traveling. I would love to make it to all the countries in the world one day, but it's something that has definitely slowed me down. Okay, thanks for watching. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good weekend. Ciao.